After uploading part 1 of my top 20 childhood games, I actually took a nice vacation in Queensland. There was a lot of cool things I did, like seeing Venom in the cinemas, catching up with some friends, purchasing a statue of Crash Bandicoot, and visiting the Australian Zoo. So many great and breathtaking animals to look at. Wow. But now, after a fun ride, it was time to go home. Oh man, what a vacation. Surprise!
It's you!
Right, it's me. You can't escape me that easily. I've come back to haunt you in your dreams. I've come back to make you shiver in your skin. I've come back to... Wait, where the hell are you going? It's you! I've been waiting all day for this game, and now I have it. We can finally talk about it. Hey, what about me? Oh, it's you again. What? I mean, yes, it's me. Now, as what I was saying, Fucking trash bag. Why doesn't anyone like me? Hello to all my wonderful video gamers out there, and welcome back to another cracking episode of Cheese and Crackers. There's two things I love in this world: platform games and Disney movies. Yeah, some of them can be weird and lazy, or in other words, just fucking shit. But trust me, when you see fantastic Disney movies, it's awesome. The Lion King, Bambi, Tarzan, these are just examples, and I could list even more of them. So, what happens when you put the two together? Well, you get some average games. So, the question is Monsters Inc. Scare Island one of them? Monsters Inc. Scare Island, or Scream Team in America, or Monster Academy in Japan, Jesus, there's a lot of different names, is a Disney 3D platform game released in 2001 in the US, then finally been released in Europe in 2002. Usually as a kid, when I see a Disney game in shelves, I'm immediately all in to get it. I think there was a point in time where I wanted to get all the Disney games on PlayStation 1 because there was so many of them. And again, I was a huge Disney nerd back in the time. The movie itself was pretty good, few problems here and there, but there was always going to be some issues. And Monsters University... well, I don't know if anyone wanted a prelude to Monsters Inc., so... meh? But we're not here to discuss the movies, we're here to talk about the video game. But before we start, there's something I need to point out. When it comes to video games based on movies, they're usually not fantastic. Some of them are good, while most of them fall into either average or just plain mediocrity. So, I guess time will tell how I feel about this game. Let's see if this game is still worth replaying as we take a look at Monsters Inc. Monster Scare Academy Island Scream Team. Or, because I'm in Australia, Monsters Inc. Scare Island. We start off with Mike and Sully finally making it to the big time in Monsters Incorporated. Sully can't wait to get started, but Mike, however, is feeling a little bit nervous.
I can't do this. I'm too nervous. And you building up the situation like this is not helping.
Relax, Mikey. Remember what happened on our first day of college.
Oh yeah, I remember what you did back in college. Who could forget? I remember you being a total asshole to Mike Wazowski as he was getting good grades, and you ruined his chances and dreams of being a scarer. Isn't college great? But once Mike mans up, they both proceed to enter the building. The checkout lady tells the two in order to officially join, they need to complete a total of... I'm sorry, how many?
While you are here, the two of you will work together to complete a total of 15 trials.
Wait a minute. So, how many trials again?
15 trials.
So, 15 trials?
That's right, 15 trials.
Oh, thanks for that. I was getting a little bit confused for a minute. They have to take part in 15 trials, which acts as a tutorial for the entire game, and the tutorial is so boring. It only goes on for 10 minutes, but it feels like 30 minutes instead. You pretty much learn the basics. The jump, double jump, attack button, pouncing, that sort of thing. I wouldn't say the tutorial section is terrible, as there is one thing that saves it, and that is the funny sarcasm from Roz.
Amazing. Fantastic. Great. You made it. You're doing really well. Congratulations. We're all really impressed.
But once the tutorial is done, you'll get a cutscene from Henry J. Watermoose, and after that, you're on your own. The graphics in this game, well, they haven't really aged well, have they? Look, while the game does look outdated, doesn't mean that it's ugly. Of course not, because I can see some good details within the game. The colors are nice and the animation is spot on. Which brings me to the level designs, and they're okay as well. Some are good to look at, while other times they can look a bit weird, but nothing too distracting. You have a hub world to explore and 3 sections to select. Each section has 4 levels featuring urban, desert, and snow. Urban features the city, playground, dock, and the market. Desert has the Spinnex, Oasis, the Tomb, and the Pyramid. Snow contains the Shack, Ski Lift, Iceberg, and the Hot Springs. If I had to choose my favorite, it would have to be the desert, mainly because of the puzzles. It's not hard, but it does take some focus out of you. Now, believe it or not, one of the things I loved to do in Scare Island as a kid is give Eva Michael Sully a shower. Don't judge me, okay? The gameplay sees you either deciding to play as Michael Sully and explore around the level collecting enough primordial ooze to scare the nerves. From lowest to highest, you have blue, green, yellow, orange, then finally red. Once you have scared 5 nerves in a single level, you'll obtain the bronze medal. Win the bronze medal 4 times, and you'll unlock some special abilities for your characters, like trampolines, dashing, and portals to go from one place to another. And in order for you to get the silver and the gold medals, you do have to unlock these abilities. Which means, if you want to complete the game 100%, you will have to do some backtracking. Which is one of my pet peeves in a video game, mind you. But I will say that the backtracking here isn't annoying like Crash Mind Over Mutants. Usually you go to different parts of the level you haven't explored yet, and it is really nice to check it out. Both Mike and Sully have the same controls, but they do play differently. Sully can use the pounce to land on his belly, and that's pretty much it. Mike, on the other hand, can pounce, landing on his butt, but if you hold the button down, Mike can do it repeatedly and doesn't take a break. Mike can also stay in mid-air for a short time after a jump, so jumping from a long distance to another platform becomes much easier to land. I have to say Mike is a much more better character to play as rather than Sully in my opinion. The controls are... meh. That's pretty much all I can say. Don't get me wrong, it does feel responsive, but sometimes you could swear that you made that platform but didn't, and the same can be said when you hit an enemy, but it treats itself as you have hit thin air. When it comes to the nerves, both Mike and Sully, depending on which character you play as, scares the living shit out of them, and I always love to replicate the two. Sully's scares are frightening and very scary. So, let's see how Mike holds up. Well then. Mike's scares is weird, odd, and corny, and for some reason, I love it. I don't know why, but I love it. Mike is just hilarious when he tries to scare the nerves, and honestly, I prefer Mike's scare taunts over Sully's any day of the week.
Booga, 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 booga.
Mike Wazowski invented twerking. Oh, by God, he invented twerking! Oh, wait a minute, I already did that joke before. One of the things I love about the nerves is they just don't stand around and wait to get scared. Sometimes they'll do different stuff to pass the time, like building a sandcastle, or playing with a beach ball, or running away from you. And here's a nerve just lying on the snow by himself and enjoying the wonderful sky up above. Then all of a sudden Sully comes around and he's all like, "Argh!" And believe it or not, but towards finishing the game, I haven't come across a vehicle level. I know, it's strange, right? Usually in every platform game, they always have some sort of vehicle transportation, and they try to claim themselves as platformers, but they're not fully a 100% platform game. But in Scare Island, I have not seen one vehicle in this game. You know, it just goes to show that in order to be a platform game, you have to show yourself that you are a platformer by doing some platforming and not jumping in a slippery, boring, and wait a second, Sully just jumped in a snowboard. And that does count as a vehicle level. So, never mind. And plus, the snowboard is tough to control, and at the end of it, some text popped up on the screen and said if I wanted to try again. And after reading it, it got me thinking on what happened if I actually went to the other direction instead. Maybe the snowboard would control okay if I did that. So, just for curiosity's sake, I selected no, because I hate this fucking thing! And now we reach to the point of every platform game ever. It's time to talk about the bosses. The only boss you face in the entire game is Randall. Now, for a game that's based on Monsters Inc., where you scare people, you would think that the boss fights would be focused on scaring. Well, what if I told you that the boss challenges you face against Randall are actually boss races? Yep. You weren't expecting that, did you? The boss races overall are really fun. The way to win the race is to not only win in first place, but you also have to collect enough tokens as well. Randall does make it a fair race at first, until you get to Arctic Pursuit.
You fucking cockhead!
The races are nice and designed very well. What's really cool about these races is you have to take paths, but each one has a consequence. Choose this path and it'll be more quicker, but there's no tokens to be seen. Choose this other path and there's more tokens, but the route would take longer. And it's a split decision as well, so you can't wait around and decide where to go, making it even more tense. And if you come in second place, fall off, or don't get enough tokens, you just have to start the race again. But if I had to say what's the best part about this game, it's an easy answer. And that is the soundtrack. The music in this game is extremely catchy and nice to listen. Every beat, every instrument just complements the levels even more. But why should I keep talking about it when I should let you hear a few examples instead? If I had to say what's my favorite song in this game, it would have to be The City, as it just sounds so fucking catchy. But the only downside to the soundtrack is that no music plays when you're in the hub area. When you think of other hub areas in video games like Super Mario 64, Spyro the Dragon, or even Battle for Bikini Bottom, they all have a very nice soundtrack for those hub worlds. And in Scare Island, it is a little bit of a disappointment that there's no music while exploring around this hub world. I have said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. If you have children or someone young that you know who wants to start playing video games, this game is a good start. The soundtrack is fantastic, the level designs are nice, and the boss races are fun. But despite all of the positives I have around Scare Island, I still see it as an average game at the end of the day. That doesn't mean it's a bad game, but the flaws in Scare Island can be noticeable. The graphics overall are good to look at, but they are pretty outdated, there's sometimes annoying backtracking, and without completing the game for 100%, this game can be beaten in around 2 hours, making the experience short. I will say that this game has a nice charm in its own unique way, and I would recommend trying the game out if you enjoyed the good old PlayStation 1 platforming era, or just a fan of the movie Monsters Inc. So yeah, it was a fun game. Not the best game in the world, but a fun game nevertheless. So it looks like 2018 is slowly coming to an end. So I have a feeling that I should go out with a bang. So with that said, join me next time for a very special set of reviews. It's the reviews that I've been wanting to review for a very, very long time. Now, of course, I'm not gonna spoil it completely, but just to give you a bit of an idea, it's another platform game, of course, and he's considered to be as the mascot of PlayStation 1. And in some ways, this guy, or I should say animal, rivals Crash Bandicoot. So, with that said, join me next time as we take a look at a very special purple dragon. But until then, thank you for watching this review, and if you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, share the video, and subscribe today. My name's Cheese and Crackers, telling you to keep calm and keep playing video games. Oh, they're never gonna guess that the next review will be Spyro the Dragon. Oh shit, the camera's still on!